Bonsoir et bon appétit. I hope you watch this video. Duck orange. Normally done in the oven, but I am doing it on a rotisserie. And I'm going to show you why it's so much better to do it on a rotisserie. I am making a beautiful glazed carrots and potatoes that capture the duck fat and the orange sauce. And I make everything from scratch. It's delicious and it's worth your time. So watch this video. Bonsoir, bon appétit. Okay, so the night before you do your duck orange at a rotisserie, you got to make a brine for it, and it's super easy. So what you're going to do is take 2 quarts of water, put it in a pot, and then 2 oranges peeled. Just throw that in there. A cup of kosher salt, or sea salt, of course. Drop it in there. Half a cup of sugar. Drop it in there. 5 whole anise. I wish you could smell this. It is so flavorful. It's so much, yeah. 5 of them. They usually break, so if you have a broken one, just piece them together, and 4 to 5 is fine. Drop it in there. Get your peppercorn. And a good pinch. That's about, like, I don't know, about half a tablespoon to a tablespoon. And then you're going to take your bay leaves. I usually put 2 good sized ones, but I got a bunch of little ones, so I want to use those. So I'm going to drop that in there. Now, I'm just simply going to bring that to heat, turn it on, and medium heat, bring it to a simmer. Make sure you stir it a little bit. And what we're going to do is simply wait for the sugar and the salt to liquefy. And once it's liquefied, I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm going to add 4 more quarts of water, cold water, and then we will put our duck. So we will be back in a few seconds, or I should say minutes. Hang in there. Okay, we're back. So this is coming to a simmer, so a small boil. And I'm just going to turn off the heat. Leave it alone for about 4 or 5 minutes. And while that's resting for 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to show you what I need to do with my duck. So I got my duck. This is a 5-pound bird. And what I need to do, there's a lot of fat in here. And I need to get that fat out as it's doing the rotisserie. So what I like to do is I take a knife and I gently cut across, being careful just to pierce the skin and not the meat. Just like that. And then I will do another one. And then another one. And another one. Sometimes you gotta do it twice. Use a sharp knife, by the way. Let's turn our duck around. And I'm gonna do another one. Another one, another one, and another one. Now, get a sharp fork. I'm using a escargot fork. It's just very sharp and easy for me to do. And I'm going to just get some pokes all over it. Don't be shy. You don't want to go too deep. So I hold my finger like this. So it only goes that deep. And that's the trick. And you want to do it on the back side. Make sure you get those legs. There's a lot of fat right here, so we want to get that. Beautiful. have it. Now, we're just going to let this bird alone. I'm going to do a rotisserie. Actually, I'm just going to clip the very end of my bird, because that's just going to be unedible anyways, and it'll be easier to tuck, you see, when we tie it after we brim it. Okay, that's set there for a few minutes. We're just going to drop some cold water. And 6 quarts, so total. So I got 2 more to put in there. I'm going to let this cool. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. And then we'll be back. I'll show you how I put the duck. And without using plastic or anything, I'm just going to use my stock top here. I'm going to put the duck in there. I'm going to weigh it down, cover it, put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours, and boom, we'll have something amazing. All right, so we'll be back and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, we're back. This is nice and cool. Duck is ready. By the way, refrigerate your duck while this is cooling. And a little tip, if you don't have room in your refrigerator, well, you're going to have room in your refrigerator, but if you're in a hurry, I should say, you can add ice. So if you're doing the last 2 quarts of water, instead of doing 2 quarts, do 1 quart water and 1 quart ice. Just a little trick, and it speeds things up. All right, we're going to drop our beautiful duck. Oh, there she goes into here. Now, you can use a Ziploc, but I find this method to be better, and I'll tell you why. The Ziploc sometimes will shift, and the liquid won't cover the entire duck. This, you're guaranteed. And look what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop this guy to weigh it down. Now, if the water comes really close to the edge, which here I got about, oh my gosh, a 1/4 inch, and I don't want to spill it in my thingamajigger, I will take this out. Make sure you don't get any of the herbs. And just take a little bit of water out. There we go. And dump it. And now drop this. Because this is really going to weigh it down, and we got plenty of beautiful brine to hold that down. Just make sure all the bubbles are out of your weight. There you go. Okay, I'm going to put this in the fridge. Tomorrow, I'll show you how we make an amazing rotisserie duck à l'orange. So normally you make this in the stove, right? But this way, and I'm going to do it on my flambe rotisserie, and you can use any rotisserie, but it is fabulous. And oh my gosh, yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow. Okay, next day. So I drained my duck, and I patted it dry, and I patted the inside dry with paper towels. Now I'm going to lay it on a rack, and what I'm going to do now is dry brim. I'm simply going to put it in the fridge for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and let it just dry up a little more. That's going to give me much more crispy skin. And I'm just going to loosely put salt all over my bird and flip it, and I leave it so that the back faces up, and I just get that a little rub, making sure it's nice and even. And like you can see, just a good tablespoon is usually more than enough. Don't overdo it. And yeah, that's it. So we will stick that in the fridge, and we'll be back in an hour and a half, and we're going to make the magic. We're going to put this and do an orange duck on the rotisserie. Okay, I got a few minutes before I'm going to pull that duck out of the fridge. It's being dry brim. But I'm going to prepare my platter on my rotisserie, la Cornue Flamberge rotisserie, to really just do my vegetables. And the neat thing about this, I'm going to do it all on the rotisserie, my whole meal. Makes it really easy. I'm just quartering these, and I'm going to throw them in there. And you don't have to watch me do this. But I'm just going to quarter these like that. I'm going to put on one side. I'm going to do the rest. And then I'm going to take my peeled carrots, my baby carrots. You can buy them in the store like this, or you can do it manually. And we're going to drop that. And I'm just going to keep doing that. And we'll be back. Hang in there. Okay, so I took my duck out. I'm going to get some paper towel and just pat it a little more dry and try to rub off the salt. Wow. Try. It'll rub off. Don't forget to get in the corners. And just a good, because I want to get this guy as dry as I can. Okay. That looks pretty darn good. All right. Put that in the sink. Oh, I missed. All right, so I'm going to take this aside, give that 1 minute. Now I got my platter here of my carrots and my beautiful potatoes. I'm just going to drizzle it with a little olive oil. I'm going to put some pepper lightly on the carrots. I don't want too much on the carrots. I'm going to put a little sea salt. We have enough sodium, right, in our diets. And a little bit on the carrots, not much. So like 2 or 3 pinches there. I'm just going to toss it. And I do want to keep the carrots on one side and the potatoes on one side. Now, tip, if you have a Cornue Flamberge, and the reason I'm doing this now is that I am going to heat up that rotisserie. So I'm going to preheat it. And I'm going to throw my vegetables in here. Now, if you wanted bigger potatoes and you want to do that, it's fine. I'd still recommend half of them because you want it to absorb that beautiful, beautiful duck fat that's going to drip on this. And oh my God. And then we're going to do the orange, the duck orange sauce, which we're going to glaze the duck, and that's going to drip on there and just keep adding flavor. Okay, so you see that? It's good to go. We can throw it into the rotisserie. Now, let's work on our duck, huh? Super easy. Now, I got a little mint I put aside, and that's going to be for garnishment, okay? All this is for my sauce, but for the duck, I am going to put some mint into the cavity after I season it. A little salt, a little bit of pepper, and then a good bunch of mint, like that. A cinnamon stick, shove it in there. Now, you're going to take this, and remember those oranges that I peeled? And I used it for the brine, the wet brine. So I'm going to take this now, I'm going to squeeze, And I'm going to rub that juice all over that duck. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, that's going to add so much flavor. Give it a good rub, don't be afraid. Like that. And what I do is I use more on one side. Now, stick that and then stuff that into the cavity, flip it. Use your other half. And do the same thing. Now, this is about a 5-pound duck. So, really, you can only really stuff about, one orange in there. Okay, so we're going to stick that in there. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to truss our beautiful duck. I'm going to do it this way so you can see what I'm doing. Excuse me. Take your string, long string, and evenly put it on both sides. Go around the tail and do a simple knot. Excuse me. There we go. Right at the tip there. Nice and tight. And then do a double knot so it doesn't go anywhere. Like that. Now, take one side, wrap around the leg, at the tip of the leg, and you want to just bring it nice and tight, like that. And then we're going to do a knot, and it's a slip knot. So you do a loop, pull the string through. My hands are all wet. And there we go. Oh, beautiful. Okay, and bring it all the way. And do a loop. Pull the string through and tighten it up. And what I like to do is cross it. And bring it across. Make one more knot to cross it in. So that forces the tail of the duck up. And this is Steve's way. That has worked for him for many years. There we go. And then you can fold the tail all the way in like that. Sometimes it will want to pop out, but most of the time it'll stay. Okay, now with your even strings, I like to flip it on the side. And the goal is just to basically, we want to keep that wing nice and tight against the body. So I go around and over. And bring it nice and tight like that. Come across like that, and then go with your other string. So if you look at my other rotisserie videos and how I do the chicken, this is a little different. Oh, they fell out. A blooper on live. Well, I'm not live. So how can you prevent that? Oh, this is good. Do another slip knot here. And then it won't slip. I just forgot to do a slip knot. So bring it in, around, and then do a slip knot. And bring it through. There we go. And string should be underneath the leg. There we go. Okay, bring your knot to the center and tighten. I usually do this much easier without on the video, but it will work. There we go. I just don't like. All right. And you know what? You mess up, if something's loose, put another string. It's okay. Like, I'm not liking this, so I'm going to put another string around there. I don't need much. Because I really want this nice and tight against the body. So that middle string that came out, I'm just going to go over and under, bring it tight, over and under. There we go. There we go. You know, the problem is my hands are wet. Enough excuses, Steve. There we go. Okay, finally, huh? Sorry, folks. That's trussed. This came out. No problem. Now, I'm going to take my rod and does that look nice in the middle? Doesn't matter. I can take it off. Okay, we're going to put it through the tail, well, right above the tail, I should say. But that it pushes it down. There we go. And then we're going to size it to the middle. There we go. Get it into the fat, bring it nice and tight, and tighten that up. Now, I always keep a trusted screwdriver. Just make sure it's nice and tight. Drop it down, let the weight really bring it tight. And get it in there. There we go. I'm not doing well today, huh? It's going to go a little higher. There we go. Okay, folks. Here we go. There we go. And by the way, I only use the screwdriver. Brand new for these purposes. And it goes in the dishwasher. Okay, nice and tight. I got a little skin sticking out there. I'm going to trim that off. And I'm liking that. I'm going to season my duck. And just I don't need much salt because remember I burned it. A little bit of pepper. Not much. Not much. There we go. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to switch the camera. I'm going to mount this on the rotisserie, and I'll show you what that looks like. We'll be right back. All right, folks, let's mount this on that beautiful Cornue Flamberge rotisserie. Turn that baby on. Now, I'm going to start with medium heat. And I'm going to go nice and slow, and then I'm going to heat it up at the end. But I have to make my baste. So that's what we're going to do next. But before I forget, we're going to put our probe in here, our Bluetooth probe. And what you want to do is put it nice and in the fat of the breast of the duck. We're going to let that spin. And that should do it right there. And I'm just going to by the way, when you're doing this on the corner, hold on to this if you're pushing this way, because or else you just push that sucker out. All right, I'm going to put that back on. And yeah, now we have time to make our beautiful basting sauce. So we'll be right back. All right, so we are back. So we're going to get a saucepan here. I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to put it on the lowest heat. I'm going to drop my brown sugar. And you're going to want some patience here. So we're going to let this brown sugar melt, caramelize. Now that's going to take a few minutes. So when it starts to do that, I'm going to show you a technique so that it caramelizes evenly. But the fastest thing is to make sure that it's flat. Use the bottom of your measurement. And that'll get you started on the right track. All right. Once that's melted, we will be adding our cider and etc. In the meantime, we got our half cup of cider ready to go, apple cider. In the meantime, I'm going to zest both of my oranges that are left and juice the one I already had taken the peels off. So simply juice your other oranges and we'll be back shortly. So hang in there. All right, so we're back. Now that orange zest that I did from those two oranges, I got a little bit of water in this and I bring it to a boil. And what we're going to do is blanch it. So I'm going to drop this in, and people think this is so hard, but it really isn't. I'm just going to drop that in, and for 1 minute, let it come to a boil. Just drop it in there, make sure it's covered. There we go. And a good boil. Have a bowl of cold water handy, because as soon as that minute's over, we're going to put in that cold water, and then we're going to do it 2 more times. So a total of 3 times. All right. Boom. Now watch. Take it off the heat. Strain it. Like that. And dump it in the cold water. Get your pot back. Pour it all back in there. And look at that. We're almost done. One more time. And we're going to repeat this exactly. So I'm going to dump this and bring some cold water. So hang in there. Okay, so look at that color. And by the way, don't put any utensils in there. You just want to be patient and gently swirl it around like that. So you got that dark, beautiful color. And it's all nice and caramelized. There we go. Okay. Now, be careful. This is scary. You're going to take your apple cider, half a cup, and stand a little back because it's going to splatter. And drop it in there. Bring it to a boil. 3 minutes. Swirl it around. All right, we're back. Now, 3 minutes later, we're going to add our orange juice. Make sure there's no seeds in it. So I do always a final strain. You can use your hand, but because the caramelized brown sugar is so hot, I suggest using something just for safety. And then you're going to put your Grand Marnier or Contra about that. Quarter cup, half a cup, a third cup. I do about half a cup. All right, now we can start stirring. Now if you're gonna have some stuff that has hardened. That's okay. All right, so we're gonna stir this, loosen everything, break it up. Use a metal spoon. And this is going to be our paste. And then later, we will make a sauce out of this as well, just to complement the duck when we serve it. So scrape the bottom, make sure you incorporate everything. Oh, I forgot to start my timer. Oh, but it's not boiling. I need it to boil. There we go. There's my boil. Okay, start the timer, 2 minutes. And just keep stirring. And by the way, if you were doing this traditionally in the oven and all that, the sauce is exactly the same. Except you put the duck in the oven for 45 minutes, you take it out, and then you baste it. But doing it on the rotisserie, much easier, much better. And I'll show you why in a few minutes. So hang in there, and we'll be right back. I'm going to move the camera. And yeah, we're going to be back on that rotisserie. We're going to strain this. So I'm just going to pour that through. Oh, oh, that beauty. All that beauty. Put that back in there. Okay, now I'll move the camera. I thought I'd show you that you should strain it. All right, we're back. So our duck's been on there for about a good 30 minutes. Oh, maybe 40 minutes. I'm just going to start tossing these vegetables, the carrots. In the meantime, all that beautiful duck fat, just drop it into there, adding beautiful flavor. But now, this is where the magic happens. We're going to add that orange. So the easiest way to do this is to stop your rotisserie. And we're just going to bring this in and drop this gently onto. You can use a brush if you want, but we're just going to drop this gently, and it's going to drip. Take a little bit at a time. Just drop it gently. A little technique here, but it's not difficult. Look at that. Look how it darkens it. Okay, let's see how that looks. Zoe, I don't want you down there. Watch it. That's Zoe. She's my sous chef, taster. She's a pro. There we go. Okay. All right, that's enough. Okay, we're gonna just let that keep going. You can use a brush to brush the parts where you didn't. If you felt like you missed. Get that sauce in there. Look at the beauty of that duck red. And this is why it is so much better to do it on a rotisserie, because now I'm going to come back and baste it about every 15 minutes till it's done. And the first time I put a lot of sauce, well, a lot. But now I'm going to slow it down. I'm just going to use the brush and put a little bit and just, like an artist, paint. So we will be back. Don't forget to stir your vegetables, because now we got that beautiful orange sauce plus the duck sauce coming into those carrots. That brown sugar is going to glaze those carrots and the potatoes, and oh my gosh, the fat. So don't be afraid to just mix that up. Now, if you're doing this on a barbecue rotisserie, just have a tray below it to capture all that, okay? And you can do the exact same thing. Just be careful the amount of heat that you have underneath it. So you would have to put a grill above the grill. I don't know if you're using a gas or coal or, yeah, it varies, but just make sure it's just below the duck. Okay? All right, we'll be back. All right, so we're back. We got about 17 minutes left on the flambe, on our rotisserie. I am going to raise the temperature now, because I want a high heat now to keep browning this and making the duck nice and crispy. And my vegetables are cooking nicely below. So now I turn this guy up all the way. And we'll be back in about 15-20 minutes till the duck is ready. We're going to rest it. And while we're resting it, we're going to make the sauce. So hang in there. We'll be back. Okay, folks, we're back. So I turn up the heat. My internal temperature is cooked beautifully. And the way I know this is my Bluetooth app, 170 degrees. Perfect. So now what you want to do on your cornue is bring it out and let it rest for 15 minutes. We're going to let that just cool down and drip. Then we're going to remove the duck, put it aside, and we're going to make our sauce. But we're going to drain this pan, save the vegetables, and yes, it's going to be delicious. So we'll be right back. Okay, woohoo, we're back. So listen, I want this duck fat, and you see it? It's coming all out. I'm going to drip it in there. There we go. That juice, that wonderful grease. I want it from my sauce. Yes. And you see, it's not that difficult. There we go. Okay, beautiful. Careful, it's hot. All right, we're gonna turn this on. And we got our duck fat. All right, I'm gonna put this on a medium heat. Now, the rest of my sauce that I didn't use, I'm gonna drop it in here. All right. I'm gonna put my orange zest into there that we blanched. You remember that? Okay. And I promise you, we're almost done. Now we're going to drop the butter. And I put 2 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to give this a nice little mix. There we go. All right. Let's leave this alone. We're going to bring it to a simmer. And then we'll be back. Okay. So I got it up to a simmer. And what you want to do is just let that simmer for about 4 or 5 minutes. And now, oh, wait, you can't see me. And now, we're going to carve that beautiful duck. So hang in there, I'm going to move the camera. Okay, let's carve this beautiful duck. So start with the leg, pull. Cut down, pull, cut down until you find the joint. And it's not that hard. So once you find the joint, give it a good cut. There we go. And I still got some string. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to drop that on our platter that Le Cornue gives us with the Flamberge Rotisserie. And now we are going to get the breast and cut in the center and pull back. Beautiful. Like that. And there's a beautiful breast with the wing. And we're going to come back on this side, grab the breast, and you're going to repeat. This wing's kind of in my way, but that's okay. Pull back. It's easier to turn it facing you. And there we go. Find the joint. There we go. Not too hard. Okay, now the rest of the breast, we will first cut. And I pull back. Giving me a little struggle there. It's okay. You can work it through, right? Okay. There we go. So we got this beautiful, a little bit of duck there, but not much. Or just pull it off and throw the meat there with my fingers. There we go. Okay. Now, we're just going to decorate this platter with some mint. not going to put it on that side yet. Now we're going to take our beautiful sauce. Oh! Give it a nice swirl. And we're just going to easily drop that sauce in there. That's perfect. All right, let's turn off the heat. And look at that. Duck à l'orange, rôti à la rotisserie. How can you beat this? And by the way, I promise you, it is so delicious because the advantage is that the duck retains its juices. We can baste it and baste it and baste it and not go into the oven, and yeah, much better. Bonsoir, bon appetit. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you to my subscribers. You guys are amazing. I mean, yeah, I appreciate the encouragement. Bon appetit.